What's up, everybody? Back on here making another quick video talking about the Alabama-Kentucky game. I thought the game went pretty good. Greg McElroy sort of started off slow, but I think he was like 3 for 9 at one point, but then had a 99-yard drive that made he was 6 for 7 during that drive. So at first I was thinking, is this Greg McElroy? Is this a part that we have not seen yet? Just a little worried. But then, once he started playing and he went 6 for 7 on that drive and he just was started connecting like he always does, you got to remember, folks, this kid has not lost a game as a starter, so I can see why. He don't get down on himself. He keeps at it, and that's what he did this past Saturday. Um, Mark Ingram, I mean, if it's not one of them, it's the other one. That's just how Alabama's going to be. We load up on our running backs and we find out who's got the hot hand, and whoever's got the hot hand, we start feeding them the ball. Uh, Not saying that Trent Richardson had a bad game. Not saying that Upchurch, when he was in there, he did a good job. But Ingram definitely had the hot hand. If you watched that game, you knew that. Uh, Made a couple of good runs. I definitely like that one where he ran and sort of hid behind the line for a little while and then darted through the middle for a touchdown. That was definitely a good run, a good highlight reel for him. That's good eye vision for him for when he gets ready to go to the NFL. They'll be watching stuff like that. Um, as far as our offensive line, I thought they played pretty good. Our offensive line played pretty good. You know, like I said, Mark Ingram had the hot hand, but it seemed like when Trent Richardson came in, they didn't block as good. But they still played I thought they still played a overall very good game. Um, you know, guys, Kentucky is not a bad team. I mean, they had one bad quarter against Florida and gave up like 30 something points in one quarter, and then they sort of settled in for the rest of the game. They're pretty physical team. Um, if you told me to compare Arkansas and Kentucky, uh, I would say Arkansas's got the better passing offense, but Kentucky's a team that can really wear your defense down by handing that ball off and just hitting hitting you in the mouth and keep going, keep going. I have a lot of respect for Kentucky. I sort of think that their offense, their running backs, and how they play physically sort of reminds me of how Alabama plays. Uh, they have a lot of same characters. Their kids really play hard, and I have a lot of respect for Kentucky. But anyways, they ran the ball pretty good on Alabama. If as an Alabama fan, any Alabama fans out there, Kentucky ran the ball pretty decent versus Alabama. Am I really worried about it? No. I know how good our defense is, and I know I'm actually glad that this has happened. That we actually had a team to come in and sort of run the ball on us a little bit, because things like that you can get corrected on a team. No offense, Kentucky, but a team like Kentucky, you'd rather get it prepared before you play Charles Scott, that's a running back for LSU, and a lot of these other running backs. Dexter McCluster's going to have speed this coming up week with Ole Miss. So I'm glad that we are going to be able to fix these problems with a team like Kentucky. I think Reamer didn't do bad. I just don't think he's got that big body like, he definitely does not have that big body like Hightower. Rolando McClain and Hightower both stand at 6'4", and they're both around 250. And Reamer sort of looks like, I don't know, to me, sort of looks like a big safety in there at linebacker. Not saying he didn't do a good job. He did a very good job. He's filling in. But like I said before, I really think when Jarrell Harris gets eligible with his body size, his speed, I think he's got a little bit more mass to him. I don't know the difference between the weight, but as far as muscle-wise and all that stuff, I know Jarrell Harris is probably a little bit bigger than Corey Reamer and probably can stuff the run a little bit better. So I do think Jarrell Harris will make some noise when he comes back. I told y'all to watch out for Courtney Upshaw, and what does he do? He makes a touchdown run. Now, I'm not no sports analyst, but I do follow closely into my team. I do pay close detail. I read everything that I can read, and I pretty much know my stuff. Everybody that knows me, if they want to know stuff about Alabama football, they usually come to me and ask me. So I'm just getting on here, and I tell my stuff to how I think it's going to happen, and if it don't happen, I'm wrong. I'll say that I'm wrong. But as far as this year, I think the biggest surprise is what's going on this year is how much other receivers have stepped up. And players like, I knew Darius Hanks was very talented before the season started, but he's came in and looked real special for our offense. And Marquise Mays, Marquise Mays, or however they announce it, he's got good hands and he's fast. I mean, he really brings a whole new, different kind of receiver than anybody else that we have. Earl Alexander caught a big pass against Kentucky. He's very tall. Got very long arms. And then Mike McCoy's been doing good, and of course Julio Jones gets the double teams, and people are saying, why is Julio Jones not having as good a year? Why is Julio Jones? He's doing his job, trust me, folks. He don't have to catch all them passes to do what Julio affects people without even catching the ball. He affects his other team. I mean, he helps everybody out, I promise you. Defenses, when you have to go into a game and you have to sort of make your defense where you're always watching that one guy always, it opens up a lot of things for other people. So remember that, people. But I think we played a good all-around game, like I said. We got some improvement to make. I think one of the most underrated players that nobody really talks about this year, and I've been reading a lot about him, but I've noticed it before I started reading about him, is P.J. Fitzgerald, our punter. I mean, the guy, when he first started, I was thinking, dadgummit, this guy has been at Alabama long enough. When is he going to graduate? I'm sure a lot of Alabama fans were thinking that. This guy is awful at punting the ball. But they said he's worked hard, and look what he's doing now. So he's stronger. He's got a good leg. And who knows, the way he's punting right now, he could have some NFL teams look at him. I mean, he can go try out and make the team somewhere. So a lot of props to P.J. Fitzgerald for his hard work and getting better over the years. And a lot of people down Lee Tiffin, which he's from my area. I am from Muscle Shoals, Alabama, and I will say that. I don't care if you know where I'm from. That's where I'm from. But anyways, this is a very good year going on. I think Ole Miss is going to bring a lot of new stuff. I think they're more of a they pass and run the ball. They're sort of a passing and run team. They're a balanced offense. You got to stop Dexter McCluster. I'll make a whole video on Ole Miss later because I got a buddy. I got the Alabama tat on my arm. Well, like I said, I got a best friend that's an Ole Miss fan, and he's got the M on his arm. So I might get him on YouTube and get his thoughts of what he thinks about the game. And I know what he's going to say, folks. I know what he's going to say. I've done heard it long enough. But he's going to go to the game. He's going down to Oxford. I'm not going down there. Personally, for me, I've been to games, which I'm going to the Tennessee game this year. But personally, I like sitting here watching on TV. I can see every replay, whether his foot was in bounds, whether he fumbled the ball, and whatever the thing's going on, I'd rather just sit here and watch it. Anyways, that's all I got for right now. I was just going to tell y'all that this has been a good year. Georgia should have won that game. I think they should have won that game, if you ask me. A.J. Green, come on now. Was that really a celebration penalty? No, that was not a celebration penalty. He ran to his teammates. His teammates picked him up. They ran out of the end zone. He was running back. Why did you throw the flag? Refs, please, when there's a good game going on, don't try to make the outcome of the game by a flag. Seriously. Let the game be played. Oh, yeah, one more thing. Onikuno, whatever your name is, Onikuno. I don't have much time, so I'm just gonna say it quick. Miami Hurricane fans, get off his back. The guy said some things that he shouldn't have said, and I know he shouldn't have said the things. And he came on here and apologized. Y'all make fun of him. Y'all can make fun of him for what he says, what his prediction was, but stop with the nerd calling and talking about his Dragon Ball Z posters. Let the guy do what he wants to do. Anyways, roll Tide, and I'll talk to y'all later.